Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. Osiris, the god who rose again. In the fertile valley of the Nile, where each year's flood transformed barren earth into fields overflowing with life, the ancient Egyptians saw a mystery unfolding before their eyes. Crops withered beneath the blazing sun, disappeared into the soil, and months later emerged greener than before. To them, this endless rhythm of death and rebirth was not merely nature at work. It was the story of Osiris, the beloved king who had taught humanity how to cultivate the land, establish justice, and live in harmony with both one another and the gods. Under his reign, Egypt prospered. The rivers flowed in season, harvests were plentiful, and peace stretched across the kingdom. But not everyone rejoiced in his success. His brother Set, consumed by envy and ambition, devised a cruel deception. He crafted a magnificent chest, promising to give it to whoever fit inside it perfectly. When Osiris lay down within the beautifully carved box, Set's followers slammed the lid shut, sealed it with molten lead, and cast it into the Nile. The river carried the coffin far from Egypt until it became lodged within the trunk of a great tamarisk tree. Heartbroken but determined, Isis, wife of Osiris and mistress of wisdom and magic, searched tirelessly across lands and rivers until she found her husband's hidden resting place. She brought his body home in secret, hoping to restore him, but Set discovered the hiding place first. Furious that his brother might return, he tore Osiris's body into many pieces and scattered them across Egypt. Once again, Isis began her search, joined by her sister, Nephthys. Together they journeyed through marshes, deserts, and riverbanks, recovering every fragment they could find. Through sacred rituals, powerful incantations, and unwavering devotion, Isis carefully restored Osiris's body. For one miraculous moment, life returned. In that sacred reunion, they conceived their son, Horus, who would one day challenge Set and restore justice to Egypt. Yet Osiris did not remain among the living. Instead, he passed into the hidden realm known as the Duat, becoming its wise and eternal king. There, he welcomed every soul who completed life's journey, weighing each heart against the feather of Ma'at, goddess of truth and balance. To the Egyptians, this was not a tragic ending, but the beginning of an even greater purpose. Just as grain must be buried before new life can emerge, Osiris descended into death so that renewal could become part of the world's eternal design. Each year, when the Nile flooded its banks and new crops rose from the dark earth, people saw the god's resurrection unfolding once more. His story reminded them that what appears to be an ending is often only the hidden beginning of another season. Life, death, and rebirth were not separate journeys but chapters of the same sacred cycle, forever carried upon the waters of the Nile. Story 2. Frashokereti, when the world is made new. The ancient followers of Zoroastrianism believed that history was not an endless cycle but a sacred journey, moving toward a glorious fulfillment. From the very beginning, the wise creator, Ahura Mazda, fashioned the world in goodness, beauty, and truth, yet an opposing force soon sought to corrupt that creation. Angra Mainyu, also known as Ahriman, brought deceit, suffering, disease, and death into the world, beginning a long struggle between truth and falsehood. Humanity was never meant to stand as helpless spectators. Every honest word, every compassionate act, every promise kept, and every choice made in harmony with Asha, the divine order of truth and righteousness, became part of the great battle to heal creation itself. Yet the Zoroastrians believed that the story would not end with darkness. It would culminate in Frashokereti, the final renewal of all things. The ancient texts tell that in the fullness of time, a savior known as Sao Huayan would arise to complete the work begun by generations before him. The dead would awaken from their graves. Families separated by centuries would embrace once again. Every soul would stand before divine truth, where nothing hidden could remain concealed. Then came one of the most remarkable images in all of world mythology. A great river of molten metal would flow across the earth, brilliant as the sun itself. To the righteous, it would feel no more painful than walking through warm milk. To those who had clung to evil, it would burn away every lie, every cruelty, and every corruption that had distorted the soul. This fire was not created to satisfy vengeance. It existed to purify. When the cleansing was complete, even death itself would be defeated. Angramayni's power would vanish forever. Creation would be restored to its original perfection, and the divisions that had scarred the world since the beginning would finally disappear. Hunger would cease. Illness would exist no more. The earth would flourish without decay, and humanity would live together in harmony beneath the everlasting light, Ahura Mazda. Unlike stories that end with the destruction of the world, Frashokereti speaks of its healing. Mountains, rivers, animals, and people are not abandoned but renewed. The universe itself is restored rather than replaced, becoming what it was always meant to be before darkness entered it. For thousands of years, this vision offered hope to those living through war, exile, and uncertainty. No matter how broken the world appeared, its deepest destiny remained one of restoration. The final chapter of creation was never intended to be ashes. It was always meant to be wholeness. Story 3. The Emergence into the Fifth World. The Hopi people teach that humanity was not lived in only one world, but in many. Long before the mesas of the American Southwest became home to their villages, before corn grew beneath the desert sky, and before the people learned to live in balance with the land, 4 worlds had already come and gone. The first world was beautiful, yet humanity gradually forgot to live with humility and gratitude. Pride, selfishness, and conflict spread among the people until the creator, Tawa, the sun spirit, and his faithful helper, Sotuknog, determined that the world could no longer continue as it was. The obedient were led to safety while the first world passed away. In the second world, humanity was given another opportunity to live in harmony. But once again, jealousy and division overcame wisdom. That world, too, came to its end. The third world flourished for a time with remarkable knowledge and prosperity. Yet people became consumed by greed, forgetting the sacred responsibilities that accompanied their gifts. They sought power rather than balance, possession rather than community, and violence instead of peace. Once more, only those who remembered the old ways listened when the warning came. Guided by Spider Grandmother, the wise guardian and teacher of humanity, they climbed into hollow reeds that grew impossibly tall. As floodwaters swallowed the third world, the reeds rose like living ladders through the heavens until they reached the opening into the fourth world, where the survivors emerged beneath the new sky. There they began again, learning that every world is not inherited forever but entrusted to those willing to care for it. According to many Hopi teachings, humanity still lives within the fourth world today, a world sustained only so long as people remember to walk in harmony with one another, honor the earth, and follow the path of balance known through Hopi tradition. Yet the elders also speak of another emergence still to come. It is not described simply as the destruction of the earth, but as the birth of the fifth world, one entered only after humanity has learned the lessons left unfinished in the ages before it. The path forward is not found through conquest or wealth, but through humility, compassion, gratitude, and reverence for all living things. Every choice either strengthens the world we inhabit or prepares the way for the one that follows. To the Hopi, history is neither endless progress nor inevitable decline. It is a sacred series of opportunities, each inviting humanity to grow wiser than it was before. Every new world begins not because the old one failed completely, but because enough people carried hope, memory, and goodness into the next beginning. The future, like the past, is shaped by how faithfully we choose to walk today. Story 4. The world that rose after Ragnarök. When the fires of Ragnarök finally burned themselves to ash, there came a silence unlike any the world had ever known. The mighty halls of Asgard had fallen. Great ash tree, Yggdrasil, still stood scarred but unbroken, its roots holding fast through the ruin of heaven and earth. The monstrous wolf, Fenrir, lay defeated. The Midgard serpent had fallen into the sea, and even the greatest of the gods had met the destiny foretold long before their births. Smoke drifted across empty plains where armies had once clashed, and the ocean slowly swallowed the last embers of the old age. It would have been easy to believe that nothing remained. Yet the old Norse storytellers did not end their tale there. As the waters settled, something extraordinary happened. A new earth rose slowly from the sea, green, fertile, and untouched by war. Rivers ran clear once more through valleys where no blood had been spilled. Forests stretched toward an unclouded sky, and fields ripened without being sown, offering grain to a world beginning anew. The air itself felt lighter, as though creation had drawn its first peaceful breath after a long season of sorrow. Above this renewed land, a new sun crossed the heavens. The ancient poems tell that before the old sun was devoured during Ragnarök, she had borne a daughter, even more radiant than herself. Now that daughter continued her mother's journey across the sky, carrying light into an age that had never known the old world's suffering. A handful of gods also returned. Baldur, whose unjust death had once foreshadowed the coming of Ragnarök, came back from the realm of the dead alongside his brother, Huther. Their ancient conflict finally healed. Vither and Vali survived the great battle, while the sons of Thor, Magni, and Mothi inherited their father's mighty hammer, Mjolnir, carrying its strength into the next stage rather than leaving it buried in the past. Not far away, hidden safely within the shelter of Hodmimi's Holt, two humans named Leif and Leifthrassir emerged into the sunlight. They looked upon a world washed clean of its former violence and became the ancestors of a renewed humanity. To the Norse, this ending was never about escaping destruction. It was about what remained after everything unnecessary had fallen away. The new world did not erase the old one. It grew from it. Memories of courage, sacrifice, loss, and hope became the soil from which a better age emerged. Even the gods accepted that no kingdom, no victory, and no life lasts forever. But neither does despair. Beyond every winter waits another spring. Beyond every sunset, another dawn. Beyond every ending, creation quietly gathers the strength to begin again. Daily Thread for July 30th. The New Age. Yesterday's stories carried us through the ending of worlds, but today asks us to stand in a strange stillness that follows and listen for what begins next. Osiris teaches that renewal does not always mean returning to the life we had before. Sometimes it means becoming something entirely new, carrying wisdom into a different form and purpose. Frashokereti imagines a future in which creation is not discarded, but healed, purified, and restored to wholeness. The Hopi emergence traditions remind us that every new world asks more of humanity than the one before it, requiring humility, balance, and courage to learn from what was lost. And beyond the fires of Ragnarök, a green earth rises from the sea, proving that even after the collapse of gods and kingdoms, life still reaches for the light. Together, these stories offer a powerful truth. Renewal is not the erasure of the past. It is the transformation of it. The old age leaves behind scars, memories, tools, and lessons, and the new age begins with whatever we choose to carry forward. We often imagine rebirth as something dramatic, a sudden moment when everything changes and we awaken entirely new. But more often, renewal begins quietly. It begins when we stop repeating an old pattern, when we forgive ourselves for surviving imperfectly, when we choose a different response, take one honest step, or allow a buried hope to return. A new age within us might not look like triumph. It may look like rest after exhaustion, clarity after confusion, or the willingness to believe that life can still become larger than the chapter that hurt us. The ancient stories do not promise that renewal is easy. Osiris must pass through death. The world of Frashokereti must be purified. The Hopi people must carry wisdom through each emergence. The Norse gods must accept that even their age cannot last forever. But in every tradition, the ending is not empty. Something survives, something remembers, something rises. Perhaps that is the real beginning of a new age. Not the moment the old world disappears, but the moment we decide its lessons will not be wasted. The question is no longer only, what have I lost? It becomes, what am I ready to build from what remains?